Welcome to today's anatomy question. Our topic today is Sacrum Mania. And joining me is Mary Richards with our live studio audience, Carol Valve, and Judith Hanson Lasater, also known as Mom. Welcome, you guys.
Welcome. Welcome to you.
So we've done over 20 episodes of today's anatomy question, and it's all leading up to this course that we're doing together. This is the experiential anatomy team assembled here for YouTube. The website is experientialanatomy.yoga. Go there and join the conversation, join the anatomy community. Today, we wanted to respond to some of the comments and some of the kind of whirlwind that has been brewing on YouTube, because I've posted a few episodes, we've done over 20 of experiential anatomy, today's anatomy question, and a few of them were about the lower back. It's a huge topic in yoga. So Mom, why don't you start us out? Why is the sacrum such a mysterious corner of the body?
I have no idea. But I do know that it's very important to understand the relationship of the lumbar spine to the sacrum, which I think is somewhat straightforward. Because the rest of the spine is a complicated kinetic chain. The sacrum is 5 vertebrae that are fused together. And so it moves as one. It doesn't move, the segments don't move independently like the lumbar spine or thoracic or cervical spine. So it's really not that difficult. But my idea for today is that what we do is we feel and we see and then we name. So Lizzie and Mary and everybody who's watching, let's feel first what happens in the relationship between the sacrum and the lower back, the lumbar spine, specifically L5. Because the sacrum is attached to L5 and sacrum is attached to the pelvis. So sit at the front of your chair.
Okay, keep talking. I'm going to get a chair.
All right. So we're going to have you sit at the front of your chair and make a really simple movement of flexion and extension so you can feel what's going on in your own back. Because if you can feel it, you're most of the way towards understanding it. All right, so that's why we call it experiential anatomy. This is the experiential part. Now, you're sitting at the front of your chair, and I want you to first back bend, and I want you to do it remembering the whole column is connected and it's a kinetic chain. So lift your breastbone up, push it forward, take your head back, and move your pubic bone toward the floor and feel what is happening to the lumbar spine. And Mary and I can come out, and let's look at Lizzie. Do you see how her pelvis is tilting forward? Her pelvis is tilting forward. That's what follows the movement. And if you come out again, Lizzie, and then just go into it from the lifting the breastbone and taking the head back and letting the lower back do what it does. Don't try to do anything to the lower back. It automatically follows. Exactly. All right. So that is what happens in extension, back bending. We don't make it happen. We don't have a muscle that does it. The joints move that way because of how they're connected and the surrounding musculature. So in back bends, the pelvis is in an anterior tilt. And when the pelvis is in an anterior tilt, beware. The top sacrum, number 1, is going forward. Mary, will you show us with the bones?
With pleasure.
All right, here we have bones. No one you knew. When you back bend, now the lumbar spine is back bending, and you can see very clearly, Mary, if you would point to that, the top sacral segment is going down, which would be towards your navel. It's going forward. It follows, even in this model without ligaments, it's pulled forward. They all go together. All right. Now, Lizzie, let's do the opposite. Thank you, Mary. Let's do the opposite. Now, I want you to drop your breastbone, drop your chin. And now, where does your sacrum and your pelvis and your lumbar spine go? Where do they go? They go into flexion. They move backward, right? Mm-hmm. But the whole spine creates it. So try it again. Go back to neutral. And don't think about your lumbar, just round your upper back and drop your chin. And naturally, you're going to get the same effect rippling through the chain. So they all go together. And now if Mary would show that to us with the bones. If you forward bend, the sacrum, the top sacrum moves back. All right.
And you can see the change in the joint space at L5S1.
Yes, the space where the fifth lumbar and the first sacrum come together, that's a joint, of course, because joints are where bones connect to bones, and there's more space there because it's opening the back body. Just like your shirt is stretching, Lizzie, in the back, your skin is stretching, your muscles, everything is going backward. So I'd like you to show that now. Thank you, Mary. Again, but I'd like you to show it on your hands and knees, so we can see in a cat-cow from the same side. So why don't, you want to do that? Let's do the second thing in the chair. Yeah, we talked about that. All right. So one of the reasons we need this kind of movement is to be able to stand up and sit down. That allows us to do that. So Lizzie, just look straight forward, act like you're alone in your house, standing up from a chair, and watch what Lizzie does now. Please show us. You see what happens to the lumbar spine? Go back again. When she's going to stand up from the chair, she leans forward, she arches the back. She's not making that happen, but it's just happening. Exactly what we showed before. Now she brings the center of gravity of her pelvis over her knees, and as she comes up, she goes to a neutral position. Now watch what happens. This is so fascinating. The most exciting thing of your day is about to happen. When she sits down now, she goes down, she goes into a back bend, and then once she's on the chair, she goes into a forward bend again. So that process is called the lumbosacral rhythm. And the sacrum is a passive player in that. Could you show us in cat-cow?
Yes, but I want to plant a question seed in your mind. This is why I'm always confused, flabbergasted in Utkatasana, chair pose, when everyone's trying to tell me to do this, to drop my tailbone,
yes,
because it feels awful.
That's because it is awful.
Because it's overriding. It's overriding the natural rhythm of the body.
Yeah.
Whenever you override the natural rhythm of the orchestra of movement, you're going to pay.
In a sensation called yuck.
Yes. Yes. That's high on the yuck index. Let's see your hands and knees. Now, again, we're just going to look at the kinetic chain. Drop the chin, round your upper back. Where does your tailbone go? This is, if you were standing up, you would call this tucking. Because the tailbone goes what? Toward the pubic bone, yes or no?
Yes.
Now, when you arch, all you have to do is think about your thoracic spine, your cervical spine. You don't even have to think about the lumbar. It will follow. Now, the tailbone goes away from the pubic bone. That's a back bend. That is a natural movement. Now, you can override that, but I wouldn't suggest it. Now, Lizzie, would you do this? Would you slowly sit back onto your heels, drop your head, and just see how you naturally go into a rounded position as you go back? Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. Now the S1 is moving away from the navel. Now come forward, like you're going to go sort of in an upward dog, start to go toward upward dog. And now we start to go to back bending, the opposite happens. That movement, yes, thank you so much. That movement of the sacrum forward that we felt in these back bending movements. I mean, even you're doing a back bend getting up from a chair. That's called nutation, because we always talk about the movement of the sacrum from the first sacral vertebra. Where is the first sacral vertebra? It's noon. Where is your first sacral vertebra? So whenever you back bend, S1 moves where?
Towards your belly button.
toward your belly button, anteriorly towards the pubic bone. And that is called nutation because it comes from a Latin word, nutare, which means to nod. So what do you do when you nod? You take your face forward. So the top of your head goes forward. That's like S1. Your head goes forward when you nod. So that would mean C7 would be like the coccyx bone, and the top of your head, see, I'm in the dark when I do that. The top of your head goes forward, S1 goes forward. That's nutation. And it is a passive joint movement that accompanies extension of the lumbar spine. The opposite, therefore, would be counter to that, and is called what? Counter nutation. So when you backbend, you get nutation of the sacrum, anterior tilt of the pelvis, extension of the lumbar spine. And then when you go the opposite way, S1 moves back, the lumbar spine flexes, and the tailbone moves toward the pubic bone.
So is that maybe, Mary, why people get so bungled up? Because it's a passive joint movement? I mean, what do you want every yoga teacher to understand in a sort of integrated way about the sacrum? Are we overthinking it?
Yes, we're applying an intellectual idea to the natural rhythm of the body. Sometimes we need to get our head out of the way. You know, I'm obsessed with the pelvis because it's the largest, heaviest region of the body. Yet many of us have an idea perhaps that our head and our brain are our most important body parts. But what you so beautifully demonstrated when you were transitioning from seated to standing with the chair is that the body, especially the pelvis, inherently knows what to do in response to gravity and as part of a kinetic chain.
Yeah. Okay. Anything before we close that you want to add to this Sacrum Mania episode, either of you?
I would like to add this, and Mary, I'm guessing, will really approve. Trust your pelvis.
Yes!
Trust your sacrum and your pelvis to move together as they will. This is why in standing, it's very uncomfortable to really counter-nutate. And you can't actually, we shouldn't even say it that way. We can't counter-nutate. We can posterior tilt the pelvis. We can flex the lumbar spine. And then in a receptive way, the sacrum counter-nutates. So if you counter-nutate, do that now, create flexion, roll back onto your sitting bones, and then try to lift the breastbone. You're creating a schizophrenic lumbar spine. And I don't know about where you are, but where I live in California, that's illegal. So trust your pelvis, trust your lumbar spine, let that all happen together. That's my suggestion.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Namaste.
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 Oh, I have to say the website, experientialanatomy.yoga. Go there, join the community of yoga anatomy enthusiasts. Bye.
Bye, Lizzie. Bye, Judith.